Yeah, you think would kill. I've got used to Apple phones. I won't buy anything else again. I can't figure it out.
Please come to order with April 9th, 2019, Ascension Parish Finance Committee meeting. Please stand for the invocation. Tonight will be led by Councilman John Cagnolati. Remain standing for the pledge.
Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings on this gathering. We ask you to give us wisdom and guidance in doing the will of the people and taking care of services to provide for them. We also ask that you watch over the family of Joe Fife, who passed recently and had his funeral today. We ask that you guard and take into your loving care the military and public safety officials who protect us every day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Turner. Cluott. And Benny. Okay, tonight we have not present Councilman Cluott, Councilman Turner, and Councilman Johnson, and received the calls from them. They are occupied at work. There are no chairs additions. If you have public comment on any agenda item, please come to the podium, pick up a speaker's card, and return that to the secretary, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak on the agenda item. And first order of general business tonight is to consider contribution to Leadership Ascensions class of 2019, All Abilities Field on Irma Boulevard. Erica Page, Leadership Ascension class of 2019. I see we have other members of the, come on up, Erica. And whoever else wants to. Barker, huh?
That's right.
Oh.
I agree, President Matassa. We have some of our team members here with us this evening, and then also Miss Liz Laurent and Barker Dearman from the Chamber just came in support for us.
Good.
I'm Erica Page. We met with you guys last month? Last month, and presented our project in hopes to gain your support for us to be able to move forward with the conversion of an all-abilities field on the Irma Boulevard T-ball facility. And you guys gave us a unanimous vote of support. We were very happy to leave with that. And during that meeting, there was also a motion made on your behalf to consider funding toward our project, which we were exuberant about. So we're here this evening just to thank you for that consideration, see if you have any additional questions for us, and have an open conversation about that.
Okay, so I see we had some information that was given to us previously, a brochure, I think was. So maybe if you just want to highlight that, Erica,
Sure.
or if you want to also maybe introduce the people you have with you. Yeah,
okay.
thanks.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Bridget Marino is part of our team.
Bridget.
Ashley Wooders, Lynette Erlinson, and then also Mr. Chris Fontenot with the Sheriff's Office.
Great,
Good
great,
to know.
welcome. So then they, maybe just refresh everybody's
Okay.
memory about the project and how much.
How much it's going to cost.
Yeah, there you go. This is finance,
That's right. Okay, so the overview of the project is to, as I mentioned, convert the current T-ball field on Irma Boulevard into an all-abilities field. And it's truly an all-abilities field and ADA compliant facility. The current bathroom structure there is very minimal. It's not ADA compliant. And something we've done since we met with you guys last time is we created a survey and presented it to the community through social media. We've actually gotten over 300 responses to our survey, many of them leaving an additional comment for us as well. And there are so many parents and family members of a child or young adult with special needs that have contributed great information in terms of be sure to include this particular ADA compliant feature in the restroom facility. Things that we thought, we want to make sure that this is fully accessible, but things that, because we don't use them every day, we didn't realize was even a true need. So since then, QES, who completed our rendering and video that we showed y'all last time, has went back through the budget with us and hasn't changed much. We're still at the $700,000 number, but they've helped us itemize that a bit more. So one of the features that they considered adding in was on the side of the sidewalk boulevard, an additional fence line by the street on the property to allow the facility to be more kid-friendly away from traffic. So we added that fence item in as a more itemized budget. So our budget is certainly still in line with where we were at $700,000. Our exact number, and this was in the packet we gave you guys, was $705,925. And we're still there, but we have a very much clearer picture on specifically how much will go toward fencing, how much of that would go toward the restroom facility, the surfacing of the field, and so forth.
Great. So, questions? No comments? Anybody? Well, I guess we,
I guess I do have a question.
Okay,
Sure.
there we go. Let's
What would be
try
the time frame to have this, how long would it take to have it built?
So construction from beginning to end is spec'd out to be a 6 to 9 month project. That's, of course, weather permitting. Now, that's from excavation of the property. And that's also under the assumption that we have contractors on board that are moving as quickly as we would like them to move. We had made the agreement with the city and the parish that as part of the dedication, is that the word we were using? Dedication of the property to this project, no construction would begin until all funds were accounted for, because currently it's used as a t-ball field for games that are played and practices now. So we'd hate to start excavating and then leave the property in worse condition than it's being played on for a longer period of time than needed. So once we have all funds secured, both in-kind and monetary donations, and we can account for all of it, we would be looking at a 6 to 9 month project based on weather and everyone complying with their dates on the calendar.
Okay.
And who's gonna be-
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm done yet, sorry. And who's gonna be responsible for maintaining the field?
So part of the cooperative endeavor agreement that was signed with the parish and the city has, and we went before their council as well, the city has agreed to maintain the property entirely upon completion of the conversion. So the way they see it is we're currently maintaining this field as one of our parks and recs fields. As it is, we cut the grass and maintain the property. And so with the conversion, we will do just the same thing, just to the new standards that it needs to be taken care of. And Mr. Lance Cohen, director of Gonzales Parks and Rec, he was a little excited. He said, well, actually, it'll be less grass for us to cut with the rubberized surface. So he was fine with that.
No, I just want to say I think it's a good idea. I support all type of recreation in the parish, not just one particular sport. I think this is a good idea for the parish.
Wonderful, thank you.
Councilman Joseph, did you have something?
Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner asked the question I wanted to ask, so.
So maybe Councilman Satterley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Usually it's the other way around. It's usually gentleman and lady. Glad to see you to come out in force tonight on the female end. I have two quick questions. Sounded like Randy Clue out there for a minute. Obviously, this park, well, maybe not opposite, I just wanted the record stated, is located in Gonzales. Gonzales, you said, is going to maintain it and so forth. It looks to me like there's going to be various funding mechanisms, including perhaps this council tonight. I guess we'll wait and see. But all citizens can use this park, residents of Gonzales and Ascension Parish residents. There'll be no checking. I don't even know if there's such a thing as a city versus an APID card or any of that kind of.
Absolutely. The field is being designed, or the league will be designed to accommodate all children and young adults that may sign up for a team throughout the parish. And there is some flexibility in that. If, let's say that there was a family member who lived near the parish line, the city can certainly allow that individual to sign up as well because they have lack of access.
So you just opened up maybe a can of worms, maybe not. So the city's going to be making those decisions. I know they're going to maintain it, but they're going to decide.
So I would say that that's probably something that can be worked out additionally, but what we've discussed thus far is that because it's a city field, the city is willing to maintain the league sign-up. So just when they have spring and fall ball sign-up, our goal, whether the parish was to oversee that or the city, our distinct goal is that it's a seamless operation, right? So if you have a special needs child and a child that has average abilities, when y'all decide to set out on that Saturday morning and go sign up for ball, that you can sign both of your kids up. And so the questions that would be asked are, is this for T-ball or coach's pitch, or is it for the special needs league? And so sign up and the ability to participate would be as inclusive and normally integrated as possible. The whole idea of the field and the league is to make sure that the families and the children feel like they have full access and ability.
Right. Well, my second question then might be a little more difficult because I'm not sure you have the data yet, but you list in our packets this evening, the public can't see this, it says additional companies that have expressed interest in supporting through either donations, that would be cash and or in kind
Yes.
for the public's benefit. That means they're going to do something like the parish is saying. It's not really a cast on it, but they're going to, I don't know, take care of the fields, whatever. And I noticed in that list, it's quite impressive, and not to be, it's probably about 24. I'm not going to read them all, but the likes of BASF, these are some big heavy hitter players, Shell Chemical, ETEL, Oxna, Methanex, RJ Daigle, and I'll stop there.
Yes.
Do you have any handle right now on how much these folks might be donating toward the $700,000 that you need? That number's not out there yet, but that's in our packets as well. Or is it just too early to tell that?
No, we certainly have an updated figure for you on that. So we were unable to start collecting donations. So all we were able to get until we got parish and city council approval of support was just to speak about the project. So now with y'all's vote of support from last month and the cities as well, we have full green light to collect funds and truly deposit monetary donations toward the project. So BASF has committed $30,000. We have quite a list of commitments and deposits that are being made. So we're at a total of $87,075 thus far in monetary donations. That's as of today. And then in terms of in-kind donations, we're up to $114,000. So the budget sheet that you guys had in your packet, we've continued to highlight. The items that are highlighted on that list are those that were committed as in-kind donations at that point.
Okay, you said, so 87,000 on the actual cash end of it. And I did count it, now it's 18 corporate sponsors have at least expressed the interest.
I'm sorry, let me correct that number because I was looking at two different categories. So total cash donations, we're at 47,000, that's cash donations.
Okay.
And then the in-kind donations is the 114,000.
Well, a quick calculation, fuzzy math I did was 4,800 at 87, so you could half that. So the average cash donation is around $2,500, even though you had a very nice one
Well,
with BSF.
so the list that you have there, all of those we have not been able to get solid commitments from all of those that are on our committed list. And it's just a matter of, we are fully committed to this project, but we all have full-time jobs as well.
Right, I understand that, but we're going to we have to make a decision tonight about,
Sure.
I'm sure, how much we are interested in funding and so forth. So I'm trying to get a handle myself for when the impending vote comes up as to how many, well, you disclosed that now, have donated, and what total amount you have in simple division will tell us then that it is around $2,500.
So of that list, of the 47,000, that accounts for 6 donors currently.
Wow.
So that would be BASF,
So
Shell.
you have 12 donors to this list that you haven't really gotten a number from yet?
Yes,
Now
correct.
we're getting somewhere, okay. So you anticipate that number being quite
Healthier.
larger, that's a good word, healthier than it currently is. And of
That's
course,
correct.
there's nothing to keep you from going out, correct me if I'm wrong, and seeking more.
Oh, no, and we are. At the time we prepared the packet for you guys, that was who had committed at that point, who we had
Okay,
verbal
let me try to
commitment
gauge
from.
interest then amongst the private sector on this, and please do not give a name. But have you asked people and they've just patently told you no?
There's one
Don't
company.
give me a name.
I won't.
Oh, don't do that.
There's one private company in the parish that's quite large, and they're going through some restructuring, and they said they were unable to make any commitments at this time, and they certainly hated that. They think it's a wonderful project. So I have gotten one on
So many more
ability.
than not are interested in helping.
Yes,
And
yes.
this could, as you said, get healthier and balloon some more. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Councilwoman Castle.
Yeah, excuse me, thank you all so much for this wonderful project. I'm very excited about it. I need to ask Ms. Gwynn. Ms. Gwynn, do you recall what the level of our commitment was to the Kids Cove, the project Kids Cove?
Kids Cove Discovery Park.
Okay, I was just curious. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councilman Cagnolati.
I was on the city council, Kenny, maybe you remember, but I think Tommy was parish president. I think they ended up with a $50,000 commitment. I may be wrong.
I know the council did, and this council has been very generous with the animal shelter, so I just want y'all to take that in consideration. Y'all are a very generous council, we're a very generous parish, but they need some help.
Mr. Cagnolati.
I'd like to make a motion, we commit to $50,000 contribution to this park.
Got a motion by Councilman John Cagnolati, second by Councilman Todd Lambert to commit to $50,000 for worthwhile project. Questions, Mr. Joseph?
Not a question. I also like to amend that $50,000. It comes out of the general fund.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
I'm fine.
Okay. So $50,000 amended to $50,000 from the general fund. Any other questions, any discussion? Mr. Lawler?
Yeah, I think this is a great plan. I've actually talked a little bit to Derek Murphy about it because I see an opportunity to actually make it a little bigger because it's a baseball, softball field. I've talked to him about extending probably the right sideline down further to where you could do all needs football, all needs soccer. So then you really have a year-round facility because, you know, I know a lot of people that play all needs over at Cypress Cove and they don't play year-round. They're looking for other opportunities that they don't get elsewhere. This would be a chance to really extend this into something that is year-round for multiple sports. It's going to cost a little bit more. But, you know, maybe once we find that out, we can put in a little more on it. But that's something I think that it's worth looking at. I've talked to Derek a little bit about this, and it's something he's going to look at because I really think that gives us the opportunity not just
Derek with QES.
yes,
Okay.
not just to make this a softball baseball facility, but all of a sudden it's something that can be used year round, and all needs children can sign up to play 3 sports,
Right.
and it offer them a lot more. So
Yes.
if you don't want that. If you don't like other sports,
We are certainly open to it. I think the first thing that triggers in my mind is awesome, and the second is, oh goodness, that rubberized surface is very expensive.
well, that's why I said we'll find out more on this, and maybe we can do a little bit more. But I've also talked to other organizations that do other sports in the parish that would be able to have some programs over there, some all needs programs that they don't have that ability now. We don't have any all needs soccer. We don't have any all needs flag football right now. So those groups would be able to say, hey,
That would be
maybe we
wonderful.
could work with this also, and they can help with it.
That would
So-
be wonderful. Part of the survey feedback that we've gotten is the majority, this is just what parents are sharing, the majority of the leagues that are hosted at Miracle, at Cypress Mounds, the Miracle League field that they have there, so many of them have written their little comment and said, all the kids at the field are from Ascension, and it's so hard to get all the way down Gardier Lane for 6 o'clock games. We signed our kid up one season and we can't this season because it's just such a struggle to get across town. The consensus is the majority of the kids playing on that special needs field, the feedback we're getting is that those are Ascension Parish children.
They are. I mean, it's funny. You can go out there and volunteer. It's a blast. We've done it before.
Yeah.
It's a good time. And this is something we could bring this to Ascension Parish. Like I said, I think we should do it. I'd like, hopefully Derek will get back with y'all and me and let us know if there's extra costs involved, and we'll see about raising that also.
Okay, Mr. President.
I got one question for Aaron. You talking about inside that fence you could do that?
Yeah, basically.
Because the rest of the property behind it and sides will be parking for the wellness center.
Correct.
So-
But there are ways that you can, we've looked at the diagrams,
Sure.
and we're not talking about a full-size football field here, but we're talking about something that kids can play on, and just, you're just extending some of it out, and, you just chalk it up for that, during the time they're not playing baseball or softball. So I think it's possible, From the diagrams that we've seen, it's something we think that can be done. I just hate to see an opportunity, why spend money again later on for additional fields when this surface, like you say, is extremely expensive? If we could turn this into a true multi-use facility, let's do it.
Love
Okay.
that.
Further discussion, Mr. Sadler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm just looking for clarity now of the motion. We have a number and a motion on the table, but there's been discussion further that this is not now going to be, and y'all are accepting that, baseball and softball, all needs, all abilities facility, but it's going to now include football and soccer? Is that what the motion's on the table, Mr. Chairman?
No, it's not a motion. I'm
Motion is
just,
to fund it, regardless.
So the motions are funded, rather that's
For what is.
just a suggestion at
Whatever
this
they
point.
make
We're
of
not,
it.
we're not making you, conditioned of our $50,000 contribution,
No.
do that if you choose not to.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking for. And maybe, too, for the record, I think it'd be helpful to the people, I'm pretty sure you probably did this last time. In fact, I know you did. But would you go ahead in 25 words or less and define what is all needs, all abilities
Sure.
for the public?
So an all needs, all abilities field is to serve the parish children and young adults that have what we consider not average abilities. So that can be those that are have a physical handicap or disability, a child in a wheelchair or with a walker, and then also those that may not have any physical disability but may have a more difficult time, those on the autism spectrum, for instance, that may have a more difficult time processing what's needed next. So with this particular game, and as Mr. Lawler brought to attention, the opportunity for different sports as well, what's really neat is the leagues incorporate a buddy system. So it allows children, our average abilities children, to participate with our special needs children, and each player is partnered with a buddy that volunteers. And so if it's someone in a wheelchair and they can approach the batter's box just fine and hit a ball off the tee, but it's more difficult for them to get around the bases, then that buddy is there to help them physically
Gotcha.
get around. And then those that may have more of a developmental delay, they can approach the batter's box and hit the ball just fine if it's tossed to them, but then they get a little overwhelmed and are unsure, what do I do next? So the buddy is there on the first baseline to encourage them to come this way. And as I'd mentioned last time we were here, not only does this serve a great need for those that are sometimes overlooked, our special needs children, it also allows us to bridge the gap with all of our children to realize that we're all very similar. We just may look a little different or think a little different, but we all love to play, and it unifies our children and takes that barrier down, which is really exciting for parents because you want your kids to get that lesson in life, right?
Very cool. It sounds like some of the kids I coached many, many moons ago in T-ball, that I don't think they knew they were all needs. Let me just use myself as an example. I would be perfect in this when I was younger. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
I'm glad you brought that out, Doc. And I also want to, give a shout out to our coaches in the parish. I know I've coached many years, Travis. We have accepted, and all the players ever won. We joined in. It's been fun, but this is this is great. They'll have their own home, and this is perfect. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, further discussion. Do I have a motion and a second to allocate $50,000 and
You
move
got it.
this forward
It's
to
on
the
the
full
table.
council? Yeah, I know we do.
Okay.
Any opposition?
What you're saying, did you have one?
I was repeating the motion.
Okay.
Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Great job.
good.
Good job.
Okay. Item number 6.
Mosquitoes.
Have to put my glasses on here. Change order number 1 to contract for mosquito abatement building, expert maintenance service LLC, additional scope of work to increase the length of the entrance ramp from 20 feet to 30 feet, to improve the slope of the driveway with an increase in contract price by an additional $5,657.19 and an additional 5 days for substantial completion. And we have Dean Thomason
So
here.
move, Mr. Chairman.
A
Second.
motion by
Second.
Councilman Dempsey Lambert, second by Councilman Satterley. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion's adopted. Item number 7, approval to use budgeted funds for the sandbagging machine building project for DPWE shop renovation, additional project, Dean Thomason, project manager. This may come up, you want to?
So move, Mr. Chairman, I've heard about this.
Okay. A motion by Councilman Dempsey Lambert,
Second.
second by Councilman Satterley. Discussion,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Lambert.
Dean, you want to come up? And this is utilizing the building on Church Point? or
Yeah,
moving?
well, it's actually two buildings. It's
Okay.
what they was, used to be the tire shop and what is our main garage. One is to extend the main garage for further facilities, and then the tire shop is to renovate it for additional storage space and equipment storage that just needs to be renovated.
Yeah. Thank you, Parish President, I know you worked on this and everyone, so I think this is a good move for the sandbagging operation.
Okay. Further questions, discussion, any opposition? Thank you, Dean. Motion adopted. Amendment number 3 to the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement Cooperative Endeavor Use Agreement between the parish and South Central Planning and Development Commission, granting the parish a license for software access to a web portal to track GPS devices at a cost of $30 per month per device. And Brandon O'Day. We have any, there's Brandon. Just appeared out of the.
So this is going to amend the contract that we currently have with the South Central Planning, and this is going to integrate the GPS devices on our vehicles and equipment with the work order software that we're currently in the process of implementing. It's the same price that we were paying with the previous company, $30 per device, and that covers the device itself as well as the tracking.
Great.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilwoman Casso. Discussion. Mr. Joseph.
Yeah. O'Day, how many devices we have?
Just over 200. That's at least that's how many we had that we used in the previous system. And then that includes your on-road vehicles, most of your off-road equipment, like your heavy, your tractors, your grass cutting, those types of things.
So are we, how many are we shortfall?
Back in the previous system, we had it on all of the devices. I think with the recent policy that you guys just approved, there's a few vehicles that won't have it, but as far as all the public works build, the crew vehicles and those types of things, it's all covered.
Okay, that's all I have. Thanks.
Further discussion. Any opposition? Hearing none, motion's adopted. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Item number 9, amendment to master contract for professional services with Centos Corporation. Ken Dawson. It looks like maybe Joan Shivers.
I like that.
You getting ready to?
It's just this contract expires on April 20th. We are in the middle of the RFP process. We'd like to extend or amend the contract until July 31st.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Joseph, second by Councilman Satterley. Any discussion, any questions, any opposition? Motion adopted. Item number 10, change order number 1 to professional services contract for engineering review agency with CSRS, Inc. to include additional services for an additional amount of $100,000 and to renew the contract for an additional year through June 10th, 2020. And Jerome is here to answer questions.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Yeah, there he is.
Thank you for letting me sit down on this, my back. Yes, this is our annual renewal of the contract for engineering review agency services that CSRS performs for us. Most of the contract, the $250,000 portion of it, is covered by fees that we collect from the development community. So as Sean Chereau, who's our ERA engineer, makes those reviews, we cover that cost with that. The additional $100,000 is going to be for work that we're asking them to do for the utilities and coming up with plans and specifications and things of this sort for sewer. And I'll let William Daniel address that portion of it.
Mr. Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With your indulgence, I'll explain the $100,000 part.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank council members. So what we're trying to do is in as we continue to improve sewer services in Ascension Parish, our goal is to set our own sewer systems out there temporarily while we're working on the master sewer plan. So, previously the way it worked is the developer would buy a sewer system and set it out there and get it hooked up. Well, what we found is those don't really meet our specifications, and we don't think that they last. So what we're asking CSRS to do is to come up with some standard plans for sewer, and then that way we're going to bid those out. So we'll have all standard equipment out there. If we have to replace a pump, we'll have a supply of pumps, and there'll be different sizes for obviously different size subdivisions, and then we'll go out there and set the sewer system out there, connect it, and we'll take care of all of it in-house, and then we'll collect all of the fees for the sewer development fee that the developer and the homeowners pay ultimately to the sewer. So I think this is a very positive step forward to standardizing the type of sewer system that we have, and also from a reliability standpoint as well. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Motion.
So motion by Councilman Satterly, second by Councilman Cagnolati. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion's adopted. Item number 11, monthly contract report. Who's going to do that?
Sandra's out sick. She's provided y'all with a report. If you have any questions, you can.
You're not
she'll be
gonna
back
read it
on
all?
Thursday. You want me to read them? I'll read them
No,
to
I'm
you.
joking. Give everybody a minute to look at that.
Everybody has a copy. If not, I'll read them.
We got him.
Oh, good.
Questions for Mr. Parrington? Okay, thank you, O'Neill. Finance reports, item number 12, budget amendment number 3, approval to introduce to amend the 2019 budget. You want, Dawn? I don't know, who is it, Gwen? Somebody gonna tell
No,
us?
it's me.
Okay.
Good evening. You have before you budget amendment number 3, the ordinance for it, which reads as follows. An ordinance to amend the ordinance approving, adopting, and appropriating the 2019 operating and capital budgets for the Parish of Ascension, adopted by the Ascension Parish Council on the 15th day of November 2018. Section 1. The Ascension Parish Council hereby ordains that the ordinance approving, adopting, and appropriating the 2019 operating and capital budgets for the Parish of Ascension is hereby amended, approved, and appropriated as follows. Operating budget, Recreation Fund, the demolition of the Santa Ma Park building, expenditures and other financing uses, transfers out to Park Construction Fund, $200,000. Capital budget, Park Construction Fund, demolition of the Santa Ma Park building, revenues and other financing sources, transfers in from the Recreation Fund, $200,000, expenditures, contract payments, $200,000.
So moved, Mr.
Got a
Chairman.
motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Cagnolati. Questions, discussion? Opposition? Ordinance is approved for introduction. Item number 13, sales and use tax report, Ms. Gwen LeBlanc.
You have before you your regular sales and use tax report. This is collections for the month of February based on January sales, so this will be the first collection for 2019. All three of our sales taxing districts, Ascension Drainage, Sales Tax District Number 1, and Sales Tax District Number 2, you can clearly see that the monthly comparisons as well as the year-to-date comparisons to 2018 are all positive. So we're starting the year in the right direction. Hopefully that continues. And then you can see by using the second page and third page charts, once again, this is just a representation of just Sales Tax District Number 1. You can see where the bar charts are, that they show the increase. Some not so much, but at least it's an increase. And the pie chart is just a depiction of where our sales taxes are basically collected in the parish. And the next page is a historical depiction of each sales tax district. The yellow is what's collected to date on each year, and the red represents on the rest of the 18 back is what was the final collection. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Councilman Satterley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Gwen, for what is always an excellent report and very helpful. I'm just curious, it's been a while since this council enjoyed seeing your bar graph on Ascension Parish 1% sales taxes, where the petrochemical industry year-to-date this year so far exceeds year-to-date last year. Can you comment on that? All of a sudden we getting money back the way it used to be when I first started serving?
I didn't hear your last sentence.
We seem to be getting more money than I got so used to seeing a graph like that, and then last year we didn't see it a whole lot, now we've seen it again. So we have some more petrochemical guys that are
Right.
contributing to
All
that.
of the, as you can see, all of the sectors were above the same time last year and, of course, year-to-date. And even compared to our budget, we're at 16% of the year, and you can see each district is over 16, 19.4, at Ascension Drainage, 22% of sales tax district number 1, and 21% at half-cent sales tax.
Quite good. Thank you.
So I guess that when, I was kind of interested in that myself. So you didn't see any reason that the petrochem went up about looks like 8 or 9%? We don't have any particular reason, Gwen?
Not in particular, it's just that they was across the board almost, that they were all just a little, small increase from
Good.
last year.
Had turnarounds and several expansions.
Okay, good.
There is that going on for sure.
Okay. Questions, further questions, comments? No. Thank you, Gwen. All right, revenue and expenditure report, Amanda.
Good evening. Before you are the financial reports for the month of February 2018. Page 1, revenues are at 11.54%. Page 2, expenditures are at 8.51% at 16.67% of the year. Page 3 are charts that compare the year-to-date revenue and expenditure for both operating and capital to the budget. Page 4 and 5 gives an explanation of the funds that are highlighted on page 1 and 2 that are under the budget for revenues or over the budget for expenditures by 5% or more. And the last page is a list of checks that were issued in February over $100,000, and the total of the checks were $4,902,026.46. Once you review, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
On Lighting District 5, I see we got 38%. What reason?
Lighting District number 6.
Lighting District, oh, you're right. Bad eyes. That's Travis.
Stay away from
Travis,
that.
you can spend all you want. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Exactly. Watch him, he'll move it too. Mr. Sadler.
Yes, the expenditure from the general fund to the Ascension Parish Library for close to $1.8 million. What was that exactly for?
That was their ad valorem tax. The sheriff submits it to the parish, and then the parish turns around and issues it to the library.
All we're doing was giving them their money.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? No, thank you, Amanda. Item number 15, bid items to accept the lowest responsive bid. Ms. Shivers.
Good evening. February 12, 2019, the Purchasing Department received 2 proposals for household hazardous material collection. After review, the non-engineering selection committee recommended accepting the proposals submitted by Clean Earth Recycling and Disposal Solutions and to authorize the parish president to begin contract negotiations for this service.
Motion, Mr. Chairman. Second.
A motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Cagnolati. Discussion, opposition.
One discussion. Is this, we still, Lamar Dixon again? What's the date?
I saw it May 16th, I think.
May 16th?
May the,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Castle.
Yes, since the private sector has abandoned the recycling services, would we be open to more participation in this, more activity?
Right now, the participation we get, the plant sending a lot of professionals to deal with what we take in, and that's basically what they do. We don't have any more grants like we did when we first started. That's why it's rose in cost, but we take it in more stuff because you got more people. And like last year, we ran out of buckets with the paint, but they do a great job, and they got a lot of good professionals out there from the plants that help us. They take for one thing they do, they use the 5-gallon buckets to a lot of people bring paint in, and they mix all of these paint colors up and make colors and send it to Habitat, uses the paint. So things like that. Last year we something that drove the costs up. Someone had like 6 pounds of mercury.
Oh,
God. And so, but we want to dispose of correctly. So things like that drive the costs up. So we got that 100,000, but we don't know how much we're going to spend pending on what people bring.
Thank you.
So we're doing a good thing by that. I get calls all the time from companies and all about computers. When y'all doing it? So because nobody just wants to throw it where you shouldn't go into regular waste at the dump, things like that. So.
Exactly. Okay. Mr. Joseph.
Mr. President, do we still get that Keep Ascension Beautiful, Keep Louisiana Beautiful grant, or they stopped that grant?
We trying to get it right now.
Okay. And
We
there's
applied
still
for it this year.
$10,000 or?
I can't tell you how much it is.
Okay. As long as we're still getting it, that's the biggest thing. Okay.
Well, we had gotten away from that, and we had to reapply. And that's what we're doing right now.
Right.
But we're doing everything they want us to do.
Right. Originally, we was putting in about
that's how we-
50,000. Now we up to 100. So.
I hadn't put too much into the Keep America Beautiful, too much. We have a lot of volunteers and stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so any opposition? Item B.
On March 27, 2019, the Purchasing Department received 3 bids for the vacuum culvert cleaner combination sewer cleaner. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by All Trucks Parts and Equipment, and to authorize the parish president to enter into any applicable agreement or contract for this equipment.
Motion.
A motion by Councilman Satterley, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Discussion, opposition. Motion's adopted. Item number 16.
On March 26.
No. I lost the second page of mine.
see.
I was ready to go.
Yeah, well, you ready to roll.
On the 16th.
C, D, E, F.
On March 26, 2019, the Purchasing Department received 6 bids for the portable diesel-powered centrifugal non-clog sewer bypass pump. There's only 5 companies listed, and that is because Thompson Pump submitted 2 bids for 2 different kinds of pumps. After review, the Purchasing Department and Public Utilities Department recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by CDPW Incorporated, and to authorize the parish president to enter into any applicable agreement or contract for this equipment.
Question.
Councilman Satterley.
John, I noticed CDPW at 39,515, but I see AMCO pump at 35,743. So you're saying that CDPW is the low?
It was the lowest responsive bid.
Okay, so AMCO is non-responsive?
That's correct.
Okay. And even at that, we get this question a lot, so I'll be the guy to ask it tonight. There's a big difference between the low bid and the high bid. Are these companies comparing apples to apples and oranges to what we're asking for here?
Yes, this is, the specifications were submitted by the Parish Utilities Department. So maybe William can address that.
I mean, it's a pump. Aren't pumps pump, Bill? I don't know.
Pump. It's a grinder pump.
Yeah, it's this sewer, yeah. I don't know, it's got something special.
So you might recall we had this item on before, and there was an issue with the applicability of the pump. So we went back and we really tightened up the specifications. So we think that this is the pump that will do the job, that meets the specifications, and is the lowest bid.
The CDPW pump?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilwoman Casso. Further discussion? Opposition? Motion's adopted. Item E. I'm sorry, item D.
On March 20th, 2019, the Purchasing Department received 5 bids for the 6x6 diesel-driven priming assisted centrifugal pump. After review, the Purchasing Department and East Ascension Drainage recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by AMCO Pump and to authorize the parish president to enter into any applicable agreement or contract for this equipment.
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilwoman Casso, second by Councilman Cagnolati. Discussion? Opposition? Motion's adopted. Item number E.
On March 21st, 2019, the Purchasing Department received 2 bids for precast reinforced box culverts. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by Capital Concrete Products and to authorize the parish president to enter into any applicable agreement or contract for this material.
What was that total price? What was the price, Joe?
There's a price list.
Operating supplies don't have a budgeted amount. It's as needed from their operating.
Oh, as needed, okay.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Cagnolati. Discussion? Opposition? Item F.
On March 21st, 2018, the Purchasing Department received 2 bids for the 2019 new grapple truck with loader model T370. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by Covington Sales and Service and to authorize the parish president to enter into any applicable agreement or contract for this equipment. And this has a $300,000 budget.
So move.
A motion by Councilman Dempsey Lambert,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Casso. Discussion? Opposition? Motion's adopted. Item number G.
On March 12, 2019, the Purchasing Department received 1 proposal for an administrative consulting services for the HUD Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher HCV program. After review, the Non-Engineering Selection Committee recommend accepting the responsive proposal from Robert Macedo and Associates and to authorize the parish president to begin contract negotiations for this service.
So move.
Got a motion by Councilman Joseph, second by Councilwoman Casso. Discussion? Opposition? Motion's adopted. Item H.
On January 18, 2019, the Purchasing Department received 7 bids for a new fueling station yard. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by Brunt Construction and to authorize the parish president to begin contract negotiations for this project.
So they have somebody here to explain that? Mr. Daniel or Mr. Matas? Or Dean, it looks like it's you.
Dean.
So just tell us what we're doing here, Dean, that, why we, need the fueling station, et cetera.
Basically, what we're trying to do is centralize all the DPW's equipment so that at our yard, we monitor and fuel all of our equipment, all of our vehicles, and we have a centralized station that when evenings, days, whatever, they come in, they fuel the vehicles. We ain't got to worry about going to 10 different stations, fuel cards and all that. It basically puts everything in one spot for the parish to fuel vehicles.
So you kind of ran over that quickly, but we're gonna reduce the number of fuel cards. Is that one of the driving factors here?
Well, no, all the equipment will still have the fuel cards, because it has per the equipment, so that we can track the amount of fuel and stuff used. But what it does is it puts it in a central location to accept that fuel and to get that fuel.
Mr. President.
And then also the technology. Today, we want technology. If the card is for regular gas, you won't be able to get diesel. If your truck is diesel, you won't be able to get regular with the card. Okay. So we're going to, we had some problems in the past, and realize, y'all know that. And this is going to help in that area. We think should save money. We're going to own everything, so we're going to look at the way we're going to bid out the fuel. We're going to own the tanks and everything, so we could bid it out like we want, get it dumped.
Do you normally use the off-road diesel, or no?
We do have off-road, and that'll be a separate card also.
Okay. Mr. Joseph.
Yeah, Dean, I understand it's on the east side. What we're gonna do on the west side, or are they still just gonna use cards? We don't have that many, but I'm just.
Exactly, yeah. On the west side, they'll still just use their cards.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Lambert.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Also, Dean, we will have emergency backup generators on these in case of a storm.
That is correct, yes.
I want to make sure that, this is going to be a 24-hour field. If, in an emergency situation, these tanks we can move.
That's correct, yes, and that has been taken into consideration, and yes, we will have 24-hour access and fueling abilities. Even if we lose power, we'll still have backup power.
That's what I want to make sure everyone knows. Motion, please.
Second. A motion by Councilman Dempsey Lambert, second by Councilwoman Castle. Discussion. Opposition. Motion's adopted. Thank you, Dean. Item number I.
April 2nd, 2019, the purchasing department received one bid for electronic time clocks, model Touch Time 3. After review, the purchasing department and Office of Technology recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid submitted by Tyler Technologies, and to authorize the parish president to enter into any applicable agreement or contract for this material. And we're going to purchase 17 of the units, and the budget was $40,970.
Motion, Mr.
A motion by Councilwoman Castle, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. It says time clock, so help me out on that, Parish President. Or is that, this is for the employees to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Brandon is here. I think it's to tie into the Tyler system that we now.
Okay.
He can answer.
Right.
Yep, so we're going to be replacing all the existing time clocks that we have throughout the parish at the different locations with this single model.
Oh, okay.
It'll allow everybody to have one type of badge. We have the access control system that's in the new building. That's what we're putting at all the different locations, so everybody will just have a single badge, because right now we've got DPW having one type of badge and then employees over here having a different. So anyway, it's all going to be one single system.
Great, thank you. Mr. Lawler.
In the grand scheme of things, though, is time relevant?
I think that question goes beyond
If we're
my
moving faster or slower, couldn't it?
Mr. Chairman, I'll let you know. It is, Aaron, but this is one of the things, a few years back, I think this showed up in one of our audits, that, you have to have I think it was multiple locations. We had a place where, you know, they could just swipe their card,
Right.
and Brandon, I think that's what one of the things we were cited on. So
Right, yeah, and
between the fuel and this time card, it's very big.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to mention too, that this time clock, because we only had the one responsive bid, the Tyler timekeeping system that we're using only works with one type of clock, so that's why you only had the one bid.
Okay,
And easy access.
okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any opposition? Now, item number 16.
We got there.
Meeting adjourned.